Hey, Picks and Parlay family. I forgot to put myself in the shot. Hey, what's going on? I'm Detroit Lenny with Picks and Parlays. Woo, we've been working at it this morning. Had some coffee. I had one cup of coffee today. One cup of coffee. Because yesterday I had three and I was bouncing off the wall. So I am your host, Detroit Lenny, here with Picks and Parlay. This is the Bet Win Repeat show. I am your host, like I said, Detroit Lenny. Don't forget, guys, about our contest page. If you're over in the contest, go over to the Facebook page. Join over there, www.facebook.com/group/picks and parlay contest. Weekly contest started yesterday. Y'all got chopped in half. There was like 60 some people or whatever joined that contest. It's for $100, minus 130 or better. One pick every day. Very simple. The monthly contest is $250 winner. Second place 100. I don't know. Third place like 50. I don't know. I finished first or last on that contest. I couldn't tell you. Definitely join that one as well. That's all month contest. That starts again on August 1st. So if you're not into that, get ready for it because that is a grind. Let me tell you, there's a lot of trash talking in that contest. So don't come in there with soft skin. I will say that. And that's pretty simple. It's 2 picks a day, minus 130 or better. And we keep track of your records and best record at the end of 30 days. 60 picks, 30 days, 30 for 30. That's how we do that. I'm in 1-in-1 hell right now, as I like to call it. I pick 2 picks a day. I win one, I lose one. I win one, I lose one. So I'm not, I'm like, I think I'm 16, 15, and 1. I mean, I don't know. I'm the definition of mediocre this month, but I've been on vacation, so I blamed it on that. I don't know. Don't forget, if you're looking for premium plays from our professional handicappers over here, Picks and Parlays, one of which is coming up next. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ross Benjamin, to be on in a minute. Use this promo code MLB. That'll save you 20% off the entire site. And I got to remind everybody, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. You'll never miss any of our live content on Picks and Parlays channel. Follow us on all social media. Twitter's Picks and Parlays. Detroit Lenny looks like that on Twitter. I'm telling you right now, I'm a funny dude on Twitter. I find myself hilarious. I don't know about all my other 300 followers, but I don't care because I think I'm funny. So let's bring in a man, myth, the legend, the people you all came to see. It ain't my face. It's this guy right here, Ross Benjamin. How we doing, Mr. Benjamin?
I'm doing great, Lenny. I think we should call this show the Detroit Lenny Hour. That's what I think it should be called. But again, we'll go with Bet, Win, and Repeat because out of respect to you, put some careful thought into naming the show. But in my eyes, it's the Detroit Lenny Hour or the Detroit Lenny Show. Or the sports betting world according to Detroit Lenny.
Oh, God help us. God help us all. If that's, when the show kind of came into fruition, I tried to think of a clever name, and I went round and round about a few things, and Craig had already had this marketed and had shirts, and I'm like, well, it's simple, bet or repeat. This is what we try to do every day. We try to bet, win, and repeat. Some of us are better than others. Ross, you're the man.
I'm not second guessing that decision. I just thought I'd throw that out from a humoristic standpoint.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, since you are so funny, and you've already acknowledged that.
Hilarious. My wife, not so much. I find myself hilarious. She doesn't think I'm funny at all,
brother.
How you been, man? I missed you, 4th of July, All-Star break. I was on vacation a week, all that good stuff. So,
hey, Lenny, it's a grind, right? You know that. So sometimes you just need to step back and you need to re-energize, and rejuvenate yourself because we go at this every day. And, unlike any business, well, every business is sort of pressurized, but this one, you just don't show up, do the work, and be guaranteed money. So
I feel like I'm on the hot seat every day. And I kind of thrive on it, though, to be honest with you, as a person. Some people built different, you know what I mean? But I kind of thrive on it because, it's a stress, but it's I don't know how to explain it, but I thrive off this stuff. So
I do as well. And you mentioned people not having thick skin. You don't last in this business as long as some of us have, if you don't have thick skin,
Fair enough.
That's not to say you should be getting stepped all over and not respond at times, but you have to be professional, right?
So absolutely. Baseball All-Star break. I am traditionally, I don't know if I just get cold feet or whatever immediately after the All-Star game, but it's kind of like the beginning of the season. I tread lightly. It's like the second half of the season for me is a whole new season. So I'm trying to tread a little lightly. And because I'm traditionally not good in the beginning of the second half of baseball, my own handicapping personally. Do you have any problems coming out of the All-Star break, or how's that work for you? Or how do you handicap any different, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, and not so much problems like in the win-loss department, because that pretty much it evens out over the years. You know what I mean? You have good runs coming out of this All-Star break, and you have some bad runs. But one thing I definitely agree with you wholeheartedly is you got to tread a little bit lightly, which I do as well as you, coming out of the All-Star break for a variety of reasons, and you got to keep in mind what I try to do, Lenny, is I look for specific teams after during the All-Star break when I have the time to do so, because, it's family time for me, but give it some careful thought in terms of, okay, who do I feel has overachieved in the first half?
Exactly.
Who do I feel like coming out of the break may be overvalued? And on the opposite side of the spectrum, who's underachieved and who is going to present some betting value on occasion? Now, that's not to say we're going to make picks on the overvalued or fade the how could I put it? Take the undervalued teams and fade the overvalued teams.
Right. You don't want to get too invested.
Yeah.
Into that. Right. It's one piece of the pie. I tell people all the time, handicapping's a pizza. There's different slices. Everyone might have more pepperoni than the other, or more toppings. It's like, look, don't get over invested into one slice of pizza.
Yeah,
it's a whole pie.
Right.
I'm here for the whole pie, not one slice, baby.
I echo the sentiments, buddy. Yeah, I couldn't have phrased it any better. And like one of those teams that I was looking at coming out of the break, and it's easy to say now, and I don't want to sound like a result better, but the Miami Marlins, even though they've lost their last four, even prior to that, Lenny, that's a team that it was 14 games over 500 after the break. Yet when you look at the run differential, it was basically even. So when I see situations like this at that point of the year with a pretty decent sample size, I'm looking at, what, this team is going to be a little overvalued on occasion. And when they are, I'm going to look to fade them. So again, it sounds like, okay, Ross, easy to say after they lost 4 in a row. But that's why I go back to at the break, they were 14 games over 500 and the run differential was even.
Right. I'm a big proponent of Arizona's been, the Diamondbacks are kind of that way for me. I've been a big proponent of them all year. I think they've met expectations so far the first half. I had them at the beginning of the year. I think they win this division. I think they're a player in this division. I think they're at the table. I don't know. I worry about the Dodgers and everything like that because the Dodgers do Dodger stuff, but the trade deadline factors into that as well.
Absolutely.
Now who's going to be buyers, who's sellers. And I think Arizona's a pitcher away from making a run. I really do. I think they're one pitcher away, starting pitcher, from really making a deep playoff run. But I've been saying that. So that's just my soap.
Yeah, you got to get rid of like a weak link like Zach Davies, maybe make him a long reliever.
I agree.
Because he's to me the least effective starting pitcher in the rotation. Arizona's hit a bit of a wall of late, but hey, you know what? They met your expectations. They've exceeded mine in the first half.
Yeah.
But you look, I don't care how good you are through the course of a season, barring talking about the New York Yankees when they won 116 games, Seattle when they won 114. Those are rare occurrences.
Yeah,
even if you win 100 games, you're gonna hit a skid somewhere along the line.
Everybody has to. It
Yeah.
not wants to, has to, I feel like, in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a long season. That's why I talk about baseball as season 1 and season 2. It's like part A, part B, and now we're into the part B section of the season, and it's a whole new ball game. Because any team is possible for a run, good or bad.
Yeah, and teams like Texas and Cincinnati, Lenny, are they going to be buyers? I believe that Texas will, but is Cincinnati going to be a buyer and think they have a realistic opportunity not only to make the playoffs, but to make a run in the playoffs? Right now, the way their current roster is assembled, they have some holes in the bullpen. Texas, the same thing. I would be absolutely shocked if Texas does not add 1 or 2 very good relievers at the trade deadline. Absolutely. So, in accordance with what you just said, then you reevaluate at that time.
Yeah.
The Yankees, they're going to be buyers, okay? But I don't know how much you could add to that lineup right now. There's just, to me, I think Boone has done a hell of a job just to have him over 6 games over 500 at this point.
I'll be honest with you. I know they talk about last place Yankees and all that, but
yeah,
it's a tough division.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say that the Rays are doing Rays stuff. Yeah. Baltimore is on only a game back. Toronto, who I've heard a lot of people say might make a second half run, one of those teams that go on a run in the second half. I'm not really on that page. I don't think Toronto's as good as advertised at 53-41, but the Red Sox, I think, finished in the last place of that division at the end of the year.
Red Sox are playing good baseball right now, but again, their pitching is a huge concern.
Absolutely.
Texas has good pitching in terms of maybe 3 deep in the rotation. I think maybe they could add a starting pitcher in the rotation. Teams like Seattle have vastly underachieved. We expected much more out of them. Yep. I did anyway.
I expected more out of the White Sox in my division, in the Tigers division. I had the White Sox win in this division, and they're 8 games out of first. But to be honest with you, in that division, everybody's alive, dog. Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Twins, Cleveland. I'm going to say it. The Tigers are a live division.
They are. I mean, look at they're 9 games under 500. They're only 5.5 out. By the way, Lenny.
Yeah.
I had the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Lennies. Nah, that's the Lions. Excuse me. The Detroit Tigers. I had them as my game of the month last night, and had it all away, Lenny. 3-run 8th inning to win the game 3-2.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I like the Tigers bullpen. They got some good arms there.
I'll tell you what. Last year it was a dumpster fire. This year though, I mean they made some moves. Young guys. I try to take my Tigers with a grain of salt. Casey Mize hasn't played all year. Tariq Scooble's coming back.
Yeah.
Today he's pitching.
He's looked sharp in his first 2 starts, but only 8 innings pitched. But yeah, I mean, you look at what he did last year,
kind of thing. Yeah. So I mean, and there's young talent there, but I'm just tired of saying that. Like that.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been saying that for 5 years.
They need a little more punch in the batting order, I would think. You know what I mean? But again, if you're going to go with young kids the way they are now, do you really want to get rid of somebody's young kids and give up on them so soon and make moves at the deadline? If you can realistically look in the mirror and say, really, if we win this division, can we really make a deep run? I think the answer is no to that, without no disrespect to your allegiance.
And nobody, I don't think, makes a run. Whoever wins this division gets bounced in the first round. I don't care if it's the Twins, the Guardians, Tigers, or White Sox. I don't care who it is. I think they get bounced right away in a playoff round anyway. But who do you like today?
You know what?
Speaking of my Tigers, I'm on them on the run line today.
Yeah, I mean, 2 days in a row is a minus 130, minus 140 favorite. I was going to say, what's the world coming to? But Kansas City is just absolutely horrific. I can't disagree with that pick, but that's not the one I'm going to use on a premium pick or the one I'd like to use on the show. Now,
it's not pretty.
Picks and Parlays does not allow us to make first 5 inning bets, and that's okay. That's Craig's prerogative, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a first 5 inning free pick here, okay? Because if indeed we were able to do so, this would be on my premium picks. Okay. So Miami Marlins, I just alluded to it. They were a team that I would be looking to fade in the second half of the season. They come out of the break. They're 0-4. Edward Cabrera gets the start for Miami. And in 8 road starts this year, a 6.50 ERA and a 1.50 WHIP. That's not very good numbers, and only averages 4.5 innings pitched per outing on the road. He's going to be opposed by Jordan Montgomery, and Montgomery's just been terrific, Lenny, over his last 4 starts with a 1.09 ERA and 0.85 WHIP. The Cardinals have won 3 in a row in 5 of their last 6. Here's the downfall with the Cardinals right now. I don't trust their bullpen. I mean, even look at their last 7 games, a 4.82 ERA and a 1.54 WHIP. And Miami is one of those teams in the first half. They were amongst the best teams in baseball in comeback wins. So I'm going to stick to the first 5. I'm going to eliminate St. Louis's bullpen. I'm going to say we have a huge advantage when it comes to starting pitchers in this matchup. Yeah. And I'm not going to go money line first 5. I'm going to go run line first 5. Cardinals minus a half a run at reasonable odds of minus 110 over the Miami Marlins in the first 5 innings. Yeah.
So I'm not big on St. Louis. St. Louis is like one of those teams. St. Louis, Milwaukee, normally San Francisco Giants. Those are like 3 teams that are just on my no-fly list every year. I just, for whatever reason, they're like, they hate me. I don't know what it is. I'm not on their Christmas card list. I can't get on the right side of them. I don't care if I'm betting with them or against them. I'm never on the right side. So St. Louis, I just like, unless there's a clear-cut advantage, but I like your play. What you're saying makes 100% sense. I say, but you just reminded me of St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't know about you, Lenny, but more on your personal side, not what goes on at Picks and Parlays. I've more and more been inclined to use first 5 inning bets a lot more than I ever was used to. I remember talking to the kids, Nick and Tim, a couple of years ago, and they were a proponent of that. And I'm going, come on, guys, with these gimmick plays. But you know what? They had a point. They were ahead of their time when they mentioned this to me. And I use it more and more, incorporate it more and more into my handicapping and my bets.
I bet a lot of first 5s. I like a lot of first 5s for the same reasons you just said. You kind of take that bullpen out of it. Then you don't have to worry about it, so to speak, and then, but I've also this year, because of the pitch clock change, I used to bet a lot of Nerfies. And I know that's a niche market. And
I'm sorry.
What was I used to bet a lot of Nerfies, like no run first inning stuff.
Yeah.
But now, because of the pitch clock and everything, I've changed that. There's a prop bet that I really like, and it's in certain situations where, like for example, to Texas today, minus 135-ish money line at home against the Rays. I think Texas is going to win that game. But I don't want to pay minus 130, minus 140, right? I don't want to, but I don't want to take the run line either. So I find this prop bet, and it's no bat in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
So the home team won't bat in the 9th inning. So that is plus 105. Yeah. So if I'm going to take Texas money line at, say, minus 135, why wouldn't I take Texas? I mean, I get the difference of why. So I'm just betting that it won't go into extra innings. Kind of like hockey. No, in regulation bet.
And it makes sense. I mean, and you're getting a better price.
Manipulate my juice a little bit.
Well, you know what? Funny you should mention that, because Jesse had a play on my show last week. Jesse Schul, who's a handicapper over at PicksandParlays.net, and Sean Higgs also. That's our 3-man crew a couple days a week. All great handicappers, and all at PicksandParlays.net. And Jesse made that play, and I'm like, what? And he's, because me, old school. I mean, you're hitting me up with something new here, and I thought I knew everything. You never know everything. And then Sean chimed in and said that Detroit Lenny's a great proponent of that. So
I found it this year kind of on accident.
Yeah.
Looking for it beginning of the year, kind of on accident, kind of found it. It's available on Caesars. That's where I get it from all the time. So if you're I'm not sponsored by Caesars or anything like that. I tell people shop their lines. You should have multiple books.
So basically, Lenny, you're getting a better price.
Hoping it doesn't go in extra innings.
Hoping it doesn't go into extra innings, and
Tigers to win in regulation, if you will.
I mean, do you really stop and think about it from a rational standpoint? When you feel strongly about a bet, do you really say, you know what? I think they could win this game in extra innings? No.
Then you don't feel that strong about it.
No. Yeah. Then you shouldn't be playing it, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me.
And I feel like I've really tried to, working with picks and parlays the last couple of years and everything, and just being around just the group of not just Ross.
Yeah, everybody.
Craig, Nick Parsons, who's coming on later, Sean Higgs, you mentioned, Jesse Shule, Nick and Tim, just the group of handicappers makes you the competitor in all of us. They just
right, and we pick things up from each other as well.
Exactly.
Like I just said with this no bat in the ninth, bottom of the ninth.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, I've been doing this for 20 years, and you always give me a lot of nice accolades, and I certainly appreciate that. But there never comes a day where I think I know it all. You know what I mean? I think I may know all the options you could bet on, like you just mentioned, and I get hit up with a surprise. But in terms of just pure philosophy and ways to look at games and ways to break down games, I may not always agree with everything somebody has to say, but there always seems to be the guys I respect. And not the guys on Picks and Parlays, go without reason. I respect each one of them. They're on that site for a reason.
Right.
And they have a winning track record. So if you could pick up just any one little piece in handicapping philosophy by listening to shows like this, I always say, look, we're giving you free picks on the show. You do segments where it's just about free picks, 2-3 minutes, and you get a free pick.
Done. Right.
Sometimes pay attention to the analysis of that pick more than anything else. I think people get too caught up with, okay, I just want the free pick and let's get it over with. I don't care what you have to say about it. It's like when they buy picks, they don't read your analysis. And I think that's the biggest mistake. A sports bettor, novice, or somebody who's been doing it for a while, it's the biggest mistake people make, because sometimes I always used to say, Lenny, and I've told you this on numerous occasions, you've heard me say this. Sometimes when you lose, you got to look at the circumstances of why you lost and say, would I make that same bet tomorrow? And like, for example, the Houston game on Saturday. I mean, I had Houston on the run line. They're up 9-3 going into the bottom of the seventh. The Angels come back and score 6 to tie it. We go up 12-9 in the top of the 12th, and we give up 4 runs in the bottom of the 12th. And the Angels, who had been struggling mightily, scored 13 runs, and Ohtani went 0 for 4. So those are the kinds of things you got to look at, and reassess the next day. You don't dwell on losers, but you assess them.
I'll tell you what, I am guilty of that, being just a novice. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I've been
betting sports
my whole
not a novice. You're
adult life. I mean, I really have. But at one time, I was just like, well, I feel this way on a game. Yeah. And then I'll look at the pick from, say, a handicapper or a professional, and I'll go, wow, not, and I just dismiss it. Yeah. And whether if it's against me or with me. And then, but now I read why. Why you have this conclusion. And instead of, well, if his conclusion matches mine, then I like it. But if it goes against mine, you can't just dismiss it.
Absolutely.
Why? Because then maybe that person has an analysis or breakdown of a game that you didn't think of that angle, or you didn't realize this stat, or you didn't see that this person is batting this, that way, or whatever. Yeah. It couldn't be a million things, but you got to, Rye says it's this too. It's all about risk management.
Yeah.
Learn from your losses. You have to learn.
That's true too. Rye, you're absolutely correct.
This is great.
But by the same token too, Lenny, these free picks we give out on these videos, people got to realize we do this for a living. We make our own bets, and we sell our information and picks for a living. So you have to look at it from a realistic standpoint, people. If we got 5 picks that we were thinking about using and we end up going with 4, you're getting a 5th one. It's just the way it is. Okay. Ask yourself this. What do you do for a living? When was the last time that your boss asked you, I'll tell you what, work an extra 10 hours like me and Lenny do on our podcast, and we're not going to pay you anything, but if you do well, we'll pay you somewhere down the line. How many of you would be willing down the line? That? 100%. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, that's the way you got. Now, I have no look, I'm not putting anybody down who watches free pick videos.
No.
This channel or any other one, and doesn't opt to pay for selections. I do have a problem with some of you out there that put so much emphasis on free pick videos. You deem a handicapper to suck because he's gone 1-4 on free pick. I just went through this with Sean Higgs. Now, here's a guy
who talk about that all the time,
64% during the NFL season. I would beg to differ or beg to tell you, tell me another guy who did that well. Not only 64%, but with that volume amount of plays he puts out, Lenny, because he's not a 3 or 4 a week guy when it comes to picks in the NFL, you know? So those are the kinds of things that, you know, people just need to be more educated on. And like I always say, Lenny, shows like yours, and you do a terrific job. If people could walk away from Lenny's show every day and say, I'm a smarter sports bettor today than I was yesterday, and then say the same thing tomorrow, you're watching the right show.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Listen, we're all here to make money. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody said, I just want to talk about sports. I don't care about the money. I care about the money. I'm here to make money. And I hope, and listen, I hope everybody's on the train with me. You know what I mean? I want the more the merrier type thing. Like, you know, I'm not, you know, we all just want to make some money. So Ross Benjamin's going with the St. Louis Cardinals, first 5 on the run line, -110, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
That's right. Right. -110. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for more of Ross Benjamin's premium plays, which we were just talking about, but these premium plays, use the promo code MLB. Save yourself 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Ross has been around for a long time, and I'm telling you what, when we talk about that group, he's the man, the myth, the legend. He's at the top of that place. So
thank you,
as
Lenny.
much as I talk his accolades, he has earned every one of them. So we appreciate you, Ross.
I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate being on your being part of your show.
Appreciate you, man. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care, Lenny.
Bye. All right, guys, we're not done. We're going to bring up another myth, another legend, just north of the border here. Nick Parsons, how we doing?
I'm working on it. Always a difficult task.
Nick.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Ross is running the show here. I mean, Ross is on fire.
Absolutely. It was a deep and philosophical ending there to his part there. And so,
Ross did get a little deep on us for sure. And he likes the St. Louis Cardinals on the first 5 on the run line there, -110-ish against the Marlins. I know you got a couple free plays for us. I hate to ask you for a free play now. Ross got all deep on me on free plays.
Yeah, no worries. But no, I'm kind of thinking the same way Ross is thinking on one of these games and going for the first 5 innings. I mean, this first 5 inning bet is similar to what you were talking about there, the regulation to finish in the 9, similar to that anyways, you know. But I do like 2 games today. You know, typically I'm a contrarian guy. But I like the Orioles in today against the Dodgers. I mean, this is a really interesting series, obviously. But this is a favorable pitching matchup for the Orioles. If you guys, I don't know if you looked at that game yet and broken that one down.
We have not. Really, Ross got a little deep on us, which I love too, because Ross gets
absolutely
deep, he's passionate.
No, he broke that down perfectly.
Yeah, and we really just went over the Cardinals and Marlins game. We didn't touch base a little bit on anything. So Dodgers, Orioles.
Well, yeah, I mean, these 2 teams super hot coming out of the break there. Both of these teams, the Dodgers won that first game, and so now the Orioles have so the only thing is there's so much public money on them here. But yeah, this is Tyler Wells. He's 7-4 with a 3.18 ERA and a 0.93 WHIP going up against Michael Grove, who's 1-2 with a 6.89 ERA. And then you're coming off the home loss of the revenge situation there. But instead of playing for the game, although I do like for the entire game, my suggestion here for the show, Lenny, will be to take on the first 5 in that one.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I remember Ross is 100% right though. I mean, first 5s a couple of years ago, people were kind of like, I don't know. And me and Nick and Tim Earl, we're big proponents of first 5s, or well, me and Nick are, I should say. Tim is his anti-first 5, not anti-first 5, right? But Nick is very first 5. Nick loves his first 5, and I like him too. And you know, it's a deal thing for me. You can get a lot. You take out, for me, I will want to shorten the game. I want to rely on one pitcher instead of 3, 4 pitchers in a bullpen, unless a bullpen is obviously good. Then I rely on that. You know, there's a lot of factors. I attribute handicapping. I say this a bajillion times. Handicapping is a pizza. There's different slices, and you got to look at the whole pizza before you take a slice. And
but for most, I mean, they're looking at the starting pitching. When you're looking at a game to begin with, what are you looking at? Of course, that's what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, that's what a lot of people are handicapping the game. That's where it all starts. So, yeah, it makes sense.
I'll tell you what, Tate, I know you're in here in the chat. I am on your White Sox today over the Mets. And I know Tim Earl's in here and he's a Mets fan. Tate's a White Sox fan. I'm gonna ride with Giolito, however you say his name. I have a theory, and this is my conspiracy theory goes into play here. Sometimes too much in handicapping. Disclaimer right there. Giolito's, I think they're good. The White Sox are sellers at the trade deadline. Giolito's probably one of those trade pieces. He pitches
so this
good.
Is the showcase game?
Kind of, yeah, exactly. He puts his displays on talent. Cookie is the Cookie. I don't know what's going on with Cookie. I think he melted or he got dipped in milk or whatever, but he's soft as hell. I'm not. He's 3-3 with a 5.16 ERA. Cookie, he has been better. Tim Earl, he's going to come to the Mets. He's going to come to the Mets defense. Cookie has been better though. And I know you're just jinxing me when I say White Sox money line. I never said it was a lock. You said it was a lock. But Giolito is poop on the road, 100%. I just have I like the White Sox today, but that's where I'm at. I'm going to get all kinds of trash now.
Well, I do have a second one as well. There's another really interesting interleague matchup, which I like. And that sees the Padres at the Jays. And so, you know, it's Joe Musgrove on the road here in Toronto. And the Jays, they just swept the Diamondbacks here at home. Yeah. The Jays have actually been on fire. They've won 4 of their last 5. But this is a big starting pitching mismatch, you know? And so I like –
horrible.
Yeah. I mean, he's coming off a decent start. Musgrove, though, he's 8-2 with a 3.29 ERA overall. But just, you know, he's 7-0 with a 1.79 ERA over his last 9 starts. He's 1-0 with a 1.46 ERA in 3 career appearances against Toronto. And then you have Manoah, as you say. He just got crushed at the beginning of the year. He's 2-7 with a 5.91 ERA. So he did get demoted. He came back. He had a decent start against the Tigers. He allowed just the 1 run, and he struck out 8 for his first victory since way back at the beginning of April. But, yeah, I just think that, you know, the Padres, they are super hungry here. If they're going to do something, they got to do something now. And Musgrove's on the hill. So, yeah, I think – and this is contrarian play because despite the Padres being the tiny favorite on the road here, the Jays have the majority of the money. So
I've heard a lot of talk. I talked, I know Tim, I think Tim, Nick, I don't know. They look alike. One of the Earls, one of them was on the Toronto Blue Jays in the second half of the year. They think they're going to make a big run. I am not that high on the Blue Jays this year. I think they fade away and die. I think they've played their best baseball. I like the Padres today. the Padres obviously have underachieved this year with that lineup, with the money they have spent and all that stuff. They need to, they need to get their act together. And, they're not very good on the road. That's the problem. But I stayed away. I leaned San Diego today, but ultimately I stayed away because I can't put money on Alex Manure, which is going to be Nathan. I am forever and always going to call him Alex Manure instead of Manoa. From here on out, that is a great name. I will always call him Alex Manure from here on out. So thank you for that. Tell me my Tigers beat Kansas City today.
Well, that's what we were thinking that last time, and then how did that work out?
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't work out very well at all. But I don't know. All right, well, that's fair. All right, so I'm on the Tigers. I'm on the Tigers.
There, and then there's other interesting matchups, of course. The Twins in Seattle.
Yeah,
that's a typical. That's the AL Central.
The
48-47. Minnesota's leading at barely.
Right. Barely. Talk to me about that Twins Mariners matchup tonight, though. Woo on the mound. I just like saying woo. But I know we're about to do a free play on that game tomorrow, but today, obviously, Bailey Ober, Brian Woo. I mean, these guys are
look at these guys' whips. Yeah, that tells the story and why these totals are so low.
100%.
Although I guess both these teams struggle a bit with offense.
They do. I kind of leaned. I hate it today because I kind of like a lot of faves today, like short favorites, minus 130-ish, 40, stuff like that. I like a lot of those, and that is not. I don't like
Seattle
betting
came through in that position last night.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of. I don't like a lot of stuff like that. Like I want as plus money as possible, but to a point. Like I'm not betting it just because it has a plus tag. There's got to be value there,
for sure.
and everything like that. But I can't bet on the Twins. I can't bet on the Twins, but that's a game that I will probably live bet because it's a late game, and I'll probably watch that game. That's the one I'll probably watch out of all these games today. Like I won't watch the Tigers because I hate disappointment. So I'll probably be on the Twins Mariners in a live bet situation. Do you live bet at all? Do you in-play a lot of stuff at all? Or I don't know if I've asked you that before.
I haven't recently, but used to do it a lot. And so, more in football though than anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's just more lines available.
Yeah, that's fair. Stop says public perception has these MLB lines all over the place and not making sense.
I get that feeling today as well, for sure. As you say, there's some short favorites here, and
I don't like. Rice says 2 strikeout pitchers against 2 high K-rated teams at in T-Mobile Park smells like an under, 100%. Yeah, I took the under first 5 in that game, and that's where I left it. And I figure as I would probably check in on that at some point, and I'll probably watch it, and then that's where I'll adjust.
But there's lots of other stuff going on too, Lenny.
Yeah.
Lots of other stuff going on in the sporting world, although MLS is sort of on this tournament break, but there's CFL and WNBA just started back up. And so a lot of cappers doing that, including myself. I didn't play the WNBA today, but I'll be back at it starting immediately after their all-star break, and have gotten out to a good, decent start this season in the WNBA. And then also the CFL have had a tremendous success now over the last 2 months. And so I'm looking to sort of finish, over the summer here, finish strong, and before other football takes, sort of center stage.
Right. And I mean, August 8th is the NFL Hall of Fame game. College football starts basically I think we're
That might be the only decent game to bet on in the preseason now is the Hall of Fame game. It just seems so much more meaningless than it ever was now with the 3 preseason games, and
yeah, it's getting even more meaningless, to be honest.
Yeah, the third week was always the dress rehearsal week, and so you always were able, and it was a build up, and then you
at least had first half, or stuff like that, where But speaking of CFL, that's in week 7, full midseason. Any things stand out roughly halfway through CFL so far, like standings or like teams overachieving?
Yep. Well, Toronto is the defending Grey Cup champs, and they're 4-0.
Yeah.
And so that definitely stands out. They have some new faces, even at quarterback and stuff. And then also BC Lions, that's a huge improvement. Their defense and everything. They're 4-1. Some teams that have disappointed have been Edmonton Elks. They weren't supposed to do that great or anything, but they're 0-6 straight up, just 1-5 against.
They're not supposed to be that bad at 0-6,
Yeah, 1-5 against the spread. They did earn their first against the spread win last week, but they're at Winnipeg this week, and so they're getting 15.5 points, and they have nearly 65% of the money on them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a big proponent of BC Lions for no reason other than they were the Lions. I started following them years ago.
Yeah, no, they've done extremely well.
Yeah,
and I've done extremely well with some big plays the last couple of weeks. I've hit both my Eastern and Western Conference game of the year the last 2 weeks. I've got a big play coming up this week, Lenny. If anybody's interested out there, if you guys like the CFL, I got my Eastern Conference total of the year. That is posted over at picksandparlays.net.
That's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Buddy.
Don't forget, guys, you're looking for Nick Parsons premium plays over at picksandparlays.net. Use this promo code MLB. Save you 20% off the entire site. And I'm going to say this because I know I sound like a broken record here. Get a package, especially with the football season coming up, college or NFL, whatever you're into. He's got them both, rather than playing day to day here and there, because anybody can have a great day and everybody can have a crap day. So get yourself a little package, get in on a weekend pass or something like that. That's where the value's at. Use the promo code MLB, save you 20% off the entire site over there. Nathan has a good question. Do you think the public perception will affect Oakland-Boston game? I don't have a pitcher listed for Boston yet. But
hold on a sec here. Let me check that out. Oakland-Boston. I'm seeing C. Murphy and L. Medina.
Okay. I got Medina, but I don't see Boston.
So it's sort of a bullpen game for the Red Sox. And so what is the question again?
Public perception. I don't like what's public perception.
Of this sucks? Game. I don't know what the storyline.
I don't know is there a story that goes behind that, or I don't know.
But obviously Medina looks like a gas can.
Yeah,
2-7 with a 6.34 ERA. So it looks like a bullpen game for the Red Sox.
And Oakland bullpen games look
off.
horrible.
Yeah, I'd stay off that one personally. Especially if you're still seeing to be determined.
I got to be determined, but I'm just kind of half-ass looking at ESPN, and they're terrible. So,
right.
So, what else you got going on for us before we get out of here? Anything else you got for us free plays, anyways?
Well, I was doing extremely well with my MLS as well. As I say, just those 2 free plays. It was the Orioles over the first 5 innings because we're gonna take the advantage on the mound over there in the first 5 innings in the starting pitching. And then I just think that there's really good value there on Musgrove, despite him being on the road there, and just the whole contrarian-ish thing in me going the other way there. And so I like San Diego.
That's fair. Nathan's saying, well, Boston's won 10, Oakland's lost 10. I like standing in front of.
I
can't put money on Oakland.
I can't in this position recommend anything. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest,
too much crazy stuff going on there. I'll be watching that more closely going forward, but yeah. I love standing in front of trains and predicting when the big upset's going to happen.
Drop, right.
But
I mean, they won 25 games. It's not, I mean, as horrible as they are, they're going to win sometimes. They're not going to go, they weren't going 0-162, I don't think they hit, I'll be honest, I've said this for a while now. I don't think they hit 50 wins. It's going to be a bad season, but that being said, they got to win 25 more. They got 25 wins. So if they win 25 more, then maybe anything could happen for sure. I don't like being on those big streaks like that. Team with 10 wins or a team with 10 losses trying to catch a falling
Yes,
knife.
Exactly. No, yeah.
Especially
when the pitchers are still sort of undetermined and it's a bullpen game. This is just like a stay away. You know what I mean?
The
anything can happen on the total.
To win a game on accident.
Yeah.
But I won't bet Oakland.
Freaky.
I appreciate you, Nick Parsons, as always, coming on here. We're gonna get on out of here.
Okay.
Don't forget, like I said, use the promo code MLB, save you 20% off the entire site. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You'll never miss any of our free content over here at picksandparlays.net. This has been Bet Win Repeat Show. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Check out our guy, Nick Parsons, at picksandparlays.net. Check him out over there. If you're looking for him on Twitter, his handle here is at Nick Parsons Pro. Check him out over there. Everybody just like, subscribe, ring the bell. Do the right thing, folks. Do the right thing. Nathan says he agrees. It's getting out of the way of the train. We'll talk to you guys later. Good luck unless you're against us. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. Take care.